Welcome everyone. Today we have the first weekly challenges of the new year, January week 1, and we have yet another Porsche 911 GT3 special event, as well as a 14-lap Red Bull Nations Cup race at Trial Mountain. The first race is the Sunday Cup at the Northern Isle Speedway, a super easy and super quick race, and I'm driving the Honda S660, and with 5 laps on this oval course, it's done in just under 2 minutes in this car. Again, super easy and super quick. You'll have no problem completing this one. Now on to the next race. And that would be the special event in the Porsche 911 GT3, and we are racing at Autopolis International. This race was actually easier than I thought it would be. I ended up getting into P1 before the end of the second lap. Just a little further down, after the start of the third lap, P2 did give me a little fight that made me think this would be a little challenging. I took the first corner a bit too slow. He got ahead of me. It was a cool little fight for the position. It ended up not being hard to get back to position. We did have a couple bumps. I unintentionally rear-ended him, but ultimately was able to get back into P1 after a few corners. And that was pretty much it for having to deal with the AI competition. There was no looking back for the last 2.5 laps, and I ended up putting quite a bit of distance on the field by the end. Under 10 minutes to finish and ready for race 3. The European Clubman Cup 600 at Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit. For this race, I chose to drive the BMW Z8, a car I don't think I have ever driven until now, but it did make it fun for this race. Only 3 laps and another fairly simple race, even with a couple of mishaps along the way like this one. And then this one, when I was going for the lead, it wasn't enough to ruin the race for me. I was able to catch back up to P1 eventually and get the lead for good this time. And that was here in the third lap. Got back into P1 and just had to not mess up anymore, and the win was mine. With this car you have to brake in a straight line, let off, then turn. And now coming to the end, and crossing the line with some distance on P2, and finishing in just over 5 minutes in the Z8, again not hard, even with the mistakes I made, but fun in this BMW. Race 4 is the Nissan GT-R Cup at Tokyo Expressway, and I'm in the 1995 Nissan Skyline 400R. This race has a PP limit of 700 or less. This is the setup I used for the 400R to meet the requirements. It's fully upgraded. I just changed the aerodynamics, ECU, and performance adjustments. Only 4 laps, and yet again, not a hard race to win. You'll fly past most of the AI during the first lap, and by the end of it, I was in P3 with P2 in my sights, and P1 not far ahead. Over halfway through the second lap, I caught up to P1 and took the lead and never looked back. Driving the 400R at Tokyo Expressway was actually a lot of fun. A fast car on a high-speed course, and you really get to have fun just driving fast and trying not to crash. Aside from a few wall bumps, I had no real issues. It turns to night during the last 2 laps, which always makes this course look very cool to me with all the lights on. You're basically speeding down a highway at night, and in just over 8 minutes, you are done. The final race is the Red Bull X 2019 Nations Cup at Trial Mountain Circuit, and you only have 2 choice of cars, the Red Bull Competition and the Anniversary Edition, and I'm in the Anniversary Edition for this race. This race was the most challenging of the bunch. The AI cars seem to have a little more speed than you at the top end, but they don't take the first sector as fast as you can. They will brake where you don't need to, and that is where you will gain on them. End of the 8th lap. I'm in P1, and this is when I pit just for new tires. You'll have more than enough fuel to complete the race, and the other AI just behind you will pit as well, and with the lead you have, you will exit still in P1. Here in the 11th lap, I've put some good distance on P1 and 2, and as long as you don't have any major crashes, you'll cruise to the end without any problems. You can probably get away with maybe 1 crash with this amount of a lead. Now here, approaching the finish line, my lead is shortened somewhat, but still enough for the win, and with 14 laps, this race took me almost 22 minutes to complete, and was definitely a challenge to get by the AI and not spin out while doing so. And that completes January Week 1 weekly challenges. Hope this might help you with choosing which cars to use aside from the special event and the Red Bull race. Please subscribe to the channel and I'll see you next time.